Welcome to the M3 Bearcast. My name is Malcolm Travers. In this episode, I speak with Sharon Lowry about infant mental health and adoption, as well as the current political state and why we should be hopeful for the future of the Democratic Party. We also just have a wide-ranging discussion about issues facing children, adults, and relationships. And often we have these conversations after our M3 live broadcast, and this was one after one of Greg's broadcasts. And so Greg and Jeff are also in the conversation as well. I saved these conversations for our Patreon members, but as we haven't actually launched the Patreon page yet, I thought I'd bring you a taste of what Patreon members may have a glance at. And often we have as much conversation off air as we do on air. So I really enjoyed this conversation with Jeff, Sharon, and Greg. And I hope you'll stay tuned through the conversation so you can learn how to become more a part of the M3 community.
I hope you did have a good time.
I did. It was very enlightening. It was very good. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. It's always good to get representation from the D.
Yes. And you know we got a lot of that, right? Lots of charisma, lots of everything here. Yeah.
No, my mom, they were born here, but they were raised in Detroit and Ann Arbor. So I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I want to know a little bit more about what you do in social work. Like you're,
people like me.
No, for about 7 years I did. I was a therapist and I dealt with infant mental health. And I went into the client's home. And what infant mental health is really, it is if a child or a parent have any mental issues, whether it's depression, behavioral issues, that's what I make sure the other person. So if the child has a problem, I make sure that that problem doesn't interfere with the child and the parent relationship.
Right.
So if the mom is depressed, then I make sure that her depression doesn't interfere with the relationship with her child or children.
Lord,
so that was my job.
My child was young. Jesus.
Yeah.
The thought made me depressed. Lord,
Yeah.
It could be a lot when it's so many. When somebody is dealing with any type of mental issue and having small children, that it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
How do you think what you did for a living affects you being like a grandparent? Do you find yourself using?
I do. I try to, still just go natural on a lot of things, but because I know the difference in some areas, it does help to understand things more. The whole the tantrum thing and just all that, just understanding it and understanding a child's development, that helps on that part. And I'm able to show my daughter and talk to her and coach her through some things that could,
Right, because you know what? That was funny because Noah had a tantrum last time he was here, and it was really bad because he was sleepy. And so I noticed, Jeff, that now that I'm older, when I was younger, my son was younger, and my first mind would be to spank him and make the tantrum 10 times worse. But I noticed when Noah was having a tantrum, I just laid him on the floor so he wouldn't bump his head and walked away.
That's all you do. You make sure they can't hurt themselves, and you walk away. You just walk away.
Now I know better, So
yeah.
like,
They're just having a meltdown. That's all.
Yeah, I saved myself all kinds of strains and injuries and shit.
But sometimes we have to do that with grown folks too, because innately that stuff that comes from our childhood still comes up and out.
You said it right there. You said a mouthful. Most of everything.
And like you said, because of what we do, I've learned, because I used to get really upset, like even in relationships when people couldn't communicate or they were just throwing a tantrum. And I've learned, you know what? When you can articulate and use your adult words, I'll come back.
See, that's it. Because they are.
I don't appreciate y'all talking about me.
Hey, that's something to see an adult tantrum. That's really something. So yeah.
No, because it's all linked, and I had to learn that through my own personal journey and through my work. But because my brother was born with failure to thrive as an infant, and it was never treated. And like you said, and I realized, and I never do that.
Is that a thing?
Oh yeah, that's a thing. It's a thing.
The way it was described to me, and I've done some research, essentially a child is born clinically depressed. And with him, he wouldn't breathe because he was depressed. He didn't want to live.
Yeah.
So for his first 24 hours of his life, he was on a respirator. And it was also because my mother was depressed.
I was just going to say, his mom had to be depressed because then, kids feel everything that the mother is going through. Even
I am shocked. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
The more you know.
All right.
As I sit down, the more you know, I tell you.
Listen, when you see it, you can see if you know what affect is. If you can see a kid that doesn't have any affect, like they don't have emotions. If you look at their parents, they're mirroring the parent.
Exactly.
No, that's blowing my mind. It really did when you were talking about diagnosing an infant psychology. I've never even thought about that, honestly. And that was like a big yes, true. And one of the things I did want to ask you about, and this is something that I want to maybe bring up being Pride Month, is like parents who are raising a child who may be expressing non-gender conforming traits at a young age, and like dealing with like parents trying to understand queer issues, maybe not even knowing, and also like fearing for the safety of their child. Because one of the stories that I read was like this young boy who may be a trans girl, but he's not really sure. He's just questioning, and he's wearing girls' clothes, and she's afraid for her safety. Like he'll go out to play or be out late at night, and she's concerned that he might get harmed.
As she should be, and that's because of the world that we live in now, and the times that we live in now. It's so easy to pass judgment on other people. It's so easy to throw hate on other people, and a lot of it is ignorant hate because they really don't know. But it's just what they think. I just don't like it. You don't even know. And that's what's happening. And unfortunately, it is bad for transgenders right now, the climate, So, but you have to have a good support system, in which we all know most of them don't have a support system like that. But that is very much so needed. It really needs to happen. And more people need to stand up, because who are any of us to tell somebody who to be or who to love?
Correct.
Yeah, that was one.
And I must say, the one of the awesome things about you is that you are probably one of the most supportive parents that I've ever, like Brandon. She's my best friend's mom, and like even we talk about his childhood, like as a kid. What was he, like 7 when he had a Spice Girls cake?
Yeah, I think it's around that age. Yeah, but yeah.
She allowed him as a 7-year-old black male in Detroit to have a Spice Girls cake, and she didn't think anything of it. You know what I mean? It was just it was
that is a beautiful thing. It is,
It made him just probably the world's most awesome person.
Well, thank you. He is an awesome guy. Yes, he is.
It trickles down to. I didn't want to say this on the line. His head already big. He's probably there solving world peace right now. But it's Jeffrey, just awesome people doing awesome shit for a living.
Thank you.
I do finance, something very selfish. Because when I started, I was a very, I'm changing now as I get older. But you can tell people do stuff for, like Malcolm. You're an awesome person. You're a journalist. You always want to give back to the world and stuff like that. So, you just
kind of awesome.
Yeah, this is kind of awesome.
It is good.
It is one of those things, and especially with you, Jeffrey. The ladies are, and some of the gentlemen are just, and when they come to you, they're in a very awkward state in their lives. You know what I'm saying? Like some of the stories you tell me is just heartbreaking.
No, I get them when they are truly broken, and it's something to see. But as I've said, because of my journey and going through and making sure that I dealt with Jeff, it has allowed me to help my clients in a completely different way. Because like she said, growing up with, and I love my mom, but my mom just never dealt with her. And like she said, as a kid, if it had not been for grandmothers and aunties or whatever, I would be my brother. And I love my brother, but like she just said, my brother has no affect. He he does not care about a lot of things, including the children, now that he's gone out and created. And he's creating a cycle. And for me as big brother and as daddy at times, I tried to come in and intervene, but I also realized I had to step back because I could not.
So I won't hound you as much if I know to that.
No, you're fine. I mean, but you. Yeah. But no, because like you just, that thing I tell people, you know, when you do any type of work that deals with people in this space, yes, I know when to say I need a break and I need to step away. But sometimes it's just also about approach, because my brother and my mom tend to pick up the phone and they're demanding, you know, and my thing is, can you say hello? Can you ask how I'm doing? Can you make sure that you're investing in me, because now you want me to invest in you?
Yeah. Right. And I did say that to you the other day. I was like people that help people don't reach back because they think you guys it happens to me too. People think I'm so strong and so capable, which is wonderful, but sometimes we need to be cared for as well.
And we also have to be able to articulate those things, because I also learned to say, you know, I have needs. This is what I need from you.
That's right.
And luckily, I have the people that were responsive to that and willing to give me what I needed in that moment. So then it helps me to also be there for them and just to be able to come out and do, because this shit is hard. The world is, I always tell people, like I say, be kind to you, because the world can be a cruel place at times.
And he does tell me that every day. Give yourself grace, be kind.
I do. I tell Greg that all
the time.
You have to. Yeah. You know, that was something that we spoke about on my podcast today. My son asked me, in a perfect world, what would I want for social workers and therapists as myself going forward? What do I see needed? And one of the things I said was support. You know, that's what social workers and therapists, they don't have the support that they need from their companies they work from, you know, they don't have that, because people think we got it. Yeah, we have it. We have it knowledgeable. We have it all like that. But also we are human. And we have our life, and we're taking on everybody's stuff, but we also have our stuff. So we have to take a moment to decompress, get our stuff, throw the junk out what we don't need. You know, we're human, and that it gets to be sometime where we don't even be looked upon as that. We're just the helpers. And now everybody needs help
all the time. I don't know how the hell y'all do it. Good Lord.
Yeah.
It's just like, because I look at my therapist sometimes, and I've been seeing him about 13 years, Mom, and I could see him aging right in front of my face. I'm like, did I do this to this man?
All those gray hairs, gray colors.
Like, this man is looking, you know, ragged. I'm like, dude, you so young and handsome when I first started seeing you.
Oh, it's a lot. And listen, it's more to come, because we're in a pandemic. Just got through with a real just a horrific pandemic. And a lot of people need help. So, you know, it's about to go into overload.
I was listening to, the Washington Post podcast. And it's funny that you're talking about social work. A lot of the talk about police reform has to do with, you know, replacing a lot of the response to 911 from police officers responding to calls to social workers being first responders, which is like kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. Like that, it is a thought of one, you know, people getting into social work, or people in police training themselves to be social workers, you know.
Well, and that's the thing, because police are not trained in that sense. They are not social workers. Right. They're trained about what's legal and what's not legal. They're not trained to come in, and they give them some. It depends, and then again, there's also universal training guides. Yeah. So in New York, or say in Atlanta, they might get better training, but in Albany, they might not.
No. That was the thing. Like I did some, you know, I went to school for criminal justice communication. So like I actually had like police officers who are either in training or already police officers. And a lot of them really didn't, you know, they probably were going to school later in life. Like myself, I was, you know, in my 20s, and a lot of them had, you know, really, I didn't occur to me at the time, but, you know, probably had no business being police officers, you know?
Oh, definitely. You still got some of those out there. So, you know.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure they were professional on the job, but I'm just saying under stress, that professionalism probably crack, you know, like so.
Oh yeah, you got stress, you got guns, you got all that mix can. Well, we already see what can happen when all
Exactly.
that get mixed in. So
and then they come in with their own biases and things like that, and like we talk about the racial stuff, because like you said, if immediately, like if a person that looks like you can run you over and you not feel threatened, but I walk in your presence and you shoot me, there's a problem.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's one of the things here that our governor had put in place is a bias classes for just different professions like myself, but they have to go through a bias class. And then the class they set up is like to have you identify some biases that you didn't know you had. Yeah, so that's what they're trying to do.
We do the same thing in our field. And you're right. And that was the thing, because so often, because you work in a nonprofit setting, and like you say, we're social workers, or we do these different things because we want to help. A lot of us don't feel like we have biases.
Right. But we do.
And I have them. And we all have to acknowledge them. And that's the thing, because biases are not bad. They're only bad if you don't understand them, because sometimes then they can be turned into negative. Like if I'm going to put it out in negative energy, I need to deal with that. But we all have them. So we just have to be honest. That's what we do. We talk about the honesty in self. I know I have these biases. Let me deal with them so that they don't become toxic.
Exactly. And that's it. That's it. It's just like you said, learning yourself, and if more people did that, like we said, when it comes to therapy is just you dealing with your issues. And I tell a lot of people, used to be a stigma on it. I'm like, now, wait a minute. Who know you seeing a therapist but yourself unless you tell them?
Right.
It's easy. Just do it. Don't tell nobody if you feel some kind of way. But if you need it, get it.
And we tell people that all the time, like I told people, I went to therapy, and as close as I am to my family, growing up here in the South, and that everything that's said in the house stays in the house kind of mentality. When I told them I was going to therapy, they freaked. It was like they responded worse to that than me coming out, honestly.
Because they what are you gonna tell? Oh, he gonna know just silly stuff. Because a secret is not a secret. It's gonna come out sooner or later, so you just make it worse by trying to cover it up. So yeah.
Thank you for listening to the podcast thus far. And if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to subscribe to Male Media Mind on YouTube. There you'll find, if you subscribe, you'll get notifications when we go live. We have live broadcasts on Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday on a wide range of different topics. Greg hosts one on Wednesday, which is where this podcast episode originated. I host one on Saturday, and it's on many of the same issues, as well as Derek. He hosts one on Sunday, and Devon hosts one on nerd topics such as comics, games, and movies on Sunday. And if you subscribe and hit the bell, you'll get notifications every time we go live. You can also post a comment or question while we record, and you can shape the direction of the conversation. Again, join us on YouTube, and you can also view them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, right? As we have a wide range of different social media platforms that you can interact with and join the M3 community. All right, now back to our conversation.
I tell my children or my clients, I say, you have to meet each person where they are. It's like, if this is all your parent got, that's all they have. So you either have to take the next step to help, or but you have to meet people that you can't expect them to know what you know or treat you the way in a certain way if they never had to.
Right.
And most people, they haven't. Everybody comes from a different era of time, and most things are generational and get passed down, and it has to take someone like you or I, Jeff or Malcolm, to say, hey, wait a minute, we're not going to keep this going on. We're going to stop this right here.
Break that generational curse. Break it.
Yes, break that generational curse. You're right. We have to do that. Yes, advocate of that. But you're so right. I mean, today I still hear things that people are grown and they're finding out. Oh, Pa ain't Pa. What? This person 40 years old. This doesn't even make any sense.
Your daddy, not your daddy. Your real daddy took and died.
And we usually have so much of that happens specifically in our families, and then we already have all the racism and the other stuff that we have to deal with. You know, it's always, and like we talked about even here, like one of the reasons why I told Greg I really wanted to work with him with some of my clients on some of the finances, like just basic financial literacy. People are not taught these things because, like I tell, and I say often, if you have to make a decision about telling your child, like, don't go out, hold your hand here and there, that takes the place of a whole nother conversation. And that's why I tell my white friends all the time, you know, you get to instinctively do things with your children that black families don't always need to do for the sake of survival. There are different contexts and conversations that have to be had. So some things just get left in the wasteland, and we have to then figure out as adults how to go back and figure these things out, you know, because my mom didn't talk to me about credit. She never said, go out and do this or go do that. I mean, luckily took civics and stuff in school, so I knew how to open up a checking account and basic things like that. But they don't even teach these classes anymore. When everything is smart around you, you can kind of become stupid.
Exactly.
Because I have friends, like you said, like one time the internet went out, or like for a couple of hours, and they had an adult tantrum. They spazzed out.
Well, I'll tell you this: the funniest thing I ever said. What was it, Mark? Whenever he joins our Sunday hangout, he always says, "What fresh hell is this?" That's his tagline or whatever. My time I ever said, "What fresh hell is this?" is when I had a light bulb that had an instruction manual, because it's a smart. I said,
the light bulb. Wow.
An instruction manual of how to connect it to the Wi-Fi. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
And now it's connected to the Wi-Fi. For me, it was, how do I get Alexa to talk to the bulb?
Oh my God. I'm like, oh, why? I'm so old.
Oh man, that's messed up. That's
light bulb to work.
That's crazy.
What fresh hell is this? Oh my God.
Fresh hell. That's a new one, but I like because I didn't see some stuff. I should have said that. Yeah, that's a good one.
But, you know, she busy enough, so I don't tell her.
Yeah. The funny thing, I was talking to Mark. I wanted to do maybe some fiction as well. Like
He's talking. We're just recording.
One time, I think before, we did Paradise by Toni Morrison, which was actually really excellent. So like it's based in this community in Oklahoma. They had moved from Ohio to Oklahoma, and it was a convent that took in battered women. And they started like a bakery or something, and of course, like, it was just crazy. It was a really good story. One of the things about Toni is her writing will jump forward and back in time. It was like stream of consciousness type writing. So it can be hard to understand at first, because you're wondering, like, is it present or past? But that's the idea. As a person is talking, they're having flashbacks or something, to something that happened before. And it takes a little while to understand what she's saying. But once you do, it's really powerful. When you're having a conversation, like, it's like the mental idea of, like, you're having a conversation right now, but what it's doing is, like, you're getting triggered by something that happened in your past, and it's like you're reliving it in that
just
moment.
like traumatic experiences, which we all know.
She is the master of writing about trauma. I never really thought about that, but and it's sometimes hard to read because you're not used to jumping back and forth through time. But that's how our thinking does. When you're
doesn't make some great movies.
Yeah, you're reliving trauma while you're doing something else. And it's like, it's really, really good. So
that's good. I have to get that book. Yeah,
Paradise is really good. Yeah, I like that.
Really, I've never read that one.
Yeah,
I didn't read that one either.
Yeah, and it came up again, I guess, because of the anniversary of the Tulsa massacre, and it kind of gets into that, where a lot of Black people moved to Oklahoma, and a lot of people just don't realize it. Like, it at a one point in our history was considered, an escape from, Jim Crow and such, but then it turned on us.
Yeah, that's something else. That story is something.
Yeah.
Just felt sadly more than once.
Right.
Man.
Because literally somebody put a map up of all the massacres of that nature that happened. And I wasn't aware that I think one happened here in Atlanta, I think 1913, 1914.
Yeah.
Something like that. And that's the kind of stuff, like they said, that does not get taught in Black history. It does not, like, I tell people, like, shows like I watched Rosewood when I did the movie Rosewood. When I found out it was true and did the research behind it, like, I can't watch the movie anymore because it brings up a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, and there's so many of those. There's literally hundreds of them. Like,
I was just going to say, it comes up. They keep, they're coming up more now than ever before, and giving us more history. And I laugh and I say, because they just made the Juneteenth the holiday, and I kind of laugh. I say, why is it like when we protest and we fight, they'll do something like that. They'll give a little holiday, and kind of in an aspect to me, I look at it saying like, okay, y'all need to be quiet now. We done gave you a day off. We gave you a holiday. Calm down. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, they don't understand. Yeah, you get a whole day now. But they don't understand that this movement is totally different from before. Like, you're just not going to throw us some Kimbles and Bits and we're okay now. It's like the younger generation want to know more and more, and they want to do more. And the pandemic allowed a very heavy presence of marches and advocacy and all that. And that's what it was. We got the time to be out there. When, to me, and before the protests that happened years ago, it happened at a moment and then it was gone. But now we're seeing something that's really has a steady momentum and is staying, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty good.
Like, one of my hopes that may come out of Juneteenth, and I totally agree with what you're saying, is I hope that maybe it'll spark education about the lingering effects of slavery. If we're talking about the end of slavery, how about after slavery was over, that some of these families still worked on those plantations for like another 100 years. Exactly.
Well, even now with the the minimum wage and stuff, it was modern day slavery, and that's what's on the ground. That's what's now. They're mad. People getting unemployment. You can't get anybody work. But like our governor told them, well, if you paid them a little more, maybe they go back to work.
If you sit at home, and they gave people choices. And and I'll just say this, for some white people, Black people with choices is not good.
That's true.
It's the options.
That is so true.
When we have options, for some reason that's upsetting to them, or that's bothering them. Like, they're now, like we said, they gave us Juneteenth, but on the backside, they still are attacking critical race theory. We're talking about here, like, what was the true overall implications of slavery? And like, I'm not lying. I'm tired of hearing about these traumatized white folks. Like, we've been traumatized for how many hundreds of years? So now you're uncomfortable, and I'm supposed to, because Susan is uncomfortable, we're supposed to stop this conversation. No, Susan needs to deal with what's going on.
Look, we still traumatized. We got these young men getting killed, getting murdered. We still being traumatized.
You took away very basic things that were skill sets for our children, and now you don't even want a conversation to truly be had and earnest about what truly happened.
Yeah,
exactly. It's always a underlay to the overplay. It always is.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because so one of the things I was going to say in politics is, I do love the Biden administration, but I can say that there is a certain political reality that you cannot talk about race honestly in certain ways. When, there was the response to Joe Biden's joint address to Congress. And the guy basically, I forget, he was a Black Republican, who just said, Tim Scott, he just basically said, systemic racism is not a real thing in America or whatever. And they asked Kamala, is America a racist country? And she had to say no. It was a political reality that she could not say that racism is systemic in the United States, or that, that racism is at the heart of what America is. Like, it is literally how we became a country, and they can't talk about reparations on a political level. Like,
that means they have to admit to the other part of it.
That's right. That's too much like right. That is too much like right. Yeah.
But we do need to talk about reparations, especially, and I think you could start small. I think one of the areas that I would like to see reparations talked about is in drug policy. So they're legalizing marijuana in lots of places, but let's talk about like repaying people, especially Black people, for the disproportionate amount of jail time that Black people received for drug crimes. And not even just talking about slavery, but let's start with the shit that just happened 30 years ago. Let's start there.
Yeah.
That's a conversation, though, that Biden needs to be a part of, because we keep forgetting that it was Clinton that gave us the attack on welfare, the war on drugs. These were Democratic policies that they enacted to make themselves look good to the other side. In a lot of cases,
we're sorry and don't do anything about it.
Right. We were hard on crime. What do you mean? We were hard on the colors. What do you mean? We overly love them. That's the Democratic response so often, and I'm over it, that too. And like they say, we have a two-party system, but we have to figure out truly how to get actively engaged in a way that we have real leadership in these parties outside of these people we send to Congress or wherever they go, because these especially with Republicans, we see they stop being accountable to even their own voters.
Right. You're right. So we've seen that
around time. Also, we need to hold these politicians' feet to the fire.
Yeah. That's a big thing that needs to be done. You are so right about that. Because everything is said during the elections and all like that. And it seems, again, that's another thing that falls by the wayside once they get in.
Right.
So I think we have to.
How do you make one accountable for the words they said after you have someone like Trump that just didn't give a fuck about anything?
Yeah, that's true. And the fear of another Trump is pretty much why we went out.
Oh, they know how to do it now, so it's going to be another one.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
I think one of the ways we do it.
Yeah. Well, that's like they were saying. Like, I understand in theory why some senators they want to keep the filibuster in place, because as they said, we won't always be the majority party.
Yeah.
So what happens on the flip side of this when we are now in the minority and the Republicans want to push something, which we've seen how they already do that. So
it is a scary
filibuster is protective in that sense, but I get the other side of that too, but it's protective now, but it's also now standing in the way of voter protection. But it's like a catch-22. What do you do?
Right. Now, there is somewhat of a middle road, which is to make filibustering much more difficult, make it where it really costs you. So, I mean, you could do it where all of them have to be present for the entire filibuster. You can't just send an email and say, we're not considering this bill. Or you can even reverse it and say you need 40 senators to veto the legislation instead of having to have 60 to affirm it. 40 people actually have to stand up and say no instead of having to say 60 people say yes. That's just one way of doing it. And they have to be in the chamber, to block the vote the entire time, That'll just make it more difficult. If they're the issue with the filibuster right now is that they use it for everything. And we don't need it for everything. We just need it for the important things. We still need the
democracy is broken.
It is. It's broken as fuck. And I'm just saying we still need the filibuster in sometimes like really important things. Like if they wanted to repeal the For the People Act, if we ever pass it. Because let's be honest, like if they could just repeal the whole thing.
If they get back vote on it now and repeal it later, like they've been trying to do with Obamacare forever.
Exactly.
That still surprises me that still stands.
I know, right? It is surprising.
That shocks the shit out of me all the time. Like,
but the only reason why they say this last time it withstood, and this is like we say we have to practice our power, is that there were some very real grassroots movements that held those people accountable. Because I saw some on MSNBC, they showed an interview that it was like a town hall. And it was one of those Republican senators, and he got up there thinking they were going to be cheering him. And a white woman said, "Hey, I'd be dead if it wasn't for the Affordable Care Act, and you work for me."
Okay, and she's so right. That's right. Yeah.
He called him out, and everybody stood up and supported her and clapped their hands like, "We tired of this shit. Like, let it be." And he was one of the ones that did not vote for it. So,
Wow,
wow,
that is crazy. That is so crazy.
Yeah, they're not about policy; they're about power.
That's it. Control.
Exactly.
Total control. Yeah.
Power. And that's why you got all these people who absolutely, I'm sure, hate Trump supporting him. They hate him on a personal level. Of course they do. Like, who likes him?
Right.
I don't know. Broad question now. I don't think they hate him.
Oh, they do. They do.
They talk about that.
Yeah, they hate him.
Yeah.
But they know that they need his base. It's not their base; it's his base.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's so crazy because it's shrinking more by the day, and then they gonna have all this shit they've done for no reason, and they gonna lose. I think it was what's his name, Michael Steele, the former head of the RNC.
Mm-hmm.
Said, and I think he's right. He was like, they're doing all this shit in vain. He said, but they make voting hard. All people gonna do is stand up and vote.
That's it. It's gonna make them want to do it more.
Well, I think there's a problem with that though, and this is one that came up when we were talking about some of the voter bills. So the problem with making voting harder is that if you're already suffering, it makes it's more difficult on you. So like if you're already working 60-hour shift on minimum wage, how are you going to drive 20 miles to go vote? Like, what are you getting out of that? You don't even think.
To that
I'm just thinking, first of all, you've never voted in your life. First of all, probably. Second of all, you don't even see the benefit in it. Like, I'm going to actually lose money from the gas I can't pay to do. I need childcare to take care of my kid. And now I got to go all the way down there and stand in line for like 6 hours or some shit.
Right, but that's how they thought they were going to get us last time. I think we're starting to see the power.
Think about the motivation. Think about that though. If you're not a politically minded person like we are, you're just a regular fucking person. Why the fuck would you don't do that? The only reason they did it this time is because they saw Donald Trump as an existential threat to the country, and he was.
Well, I think this time the fact that we are still in an existential crisis is.
They don't see that though. That's what I'm saying.
Most people do. Most people I talk to, because
actually they don't. Most people you talk to actually talk about politics. I'm talking about your average fucking person.
Well, I just started volunteering for this thing called Black People Vote.
Yeah,
and they give us these reams of people to call, and and I think we just got the numbers back. 75% of Black people think democracy is over, and they see it as that was a question. Do you see this next? And I disagree.
I see what you're saying though. Like in that regard, people who do care have to reach out to the people.
Well, right. So what it is, I think people like Stacey Abrams, I think it's not going to be like before. Like, okay, we got the president. People don't give a fuck. No, there is still there. We as a people still inherently see that there is an issue. It's not fixed by any means. And nobody you talk to, normally they'd be like, "Oh, the economy's good. This is good." No, they're like, "This shit's still broke. My cousin them still dying from COVID."
Right.
It may be available, but they don't want to take it. The other reason why Trump lost, I know people are like, oh, 74 million people still voted for him, but 82 million people did not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That is way more than 74. And so
you realize we talk about the electoral college though. He lost by 40,000 votes.
It was more than that. It was more like 100,000.
No, it wasn't. 40,000 votes was the difference in the electoral college. It was 11,000 in Georgia. It was like 12,000 in Michigan and something like 15,000 in Arizona. He would have won. It was 40,000 votes.
But look how close Trump's election was. Look how close the last election was.
I'm just saying, don't keep in mind it was a really close election, man.
Because they were saying because you're talking about the general.
I'm talking about the popular vote
versus the electoral.
That's not how you win the election.
The electoral college is fucked. It's.
I know it's actually racist. The funny thing is, the electoral college was literally designed to keep white people in power. I don't know why people don't talk about it.
It's the silliest thing. It's the silliest thing to me. It's just like,
It's itself. It was designed to be racist. It's right alongside that 3/4 compromise that they put in there. We got rid of that, but we didn't get rid of the electoral college. It's bullshit.
Which is why it needs to go.
Hopefully, I think it will at some point. But
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast thus far. I often get the question asked, what are some ways that I can help support Male Media Mind? And one of those that we've discovered is through our Amazon affiliate program. And through this program, we generate a link for a book and we read the book together. We're going to discuss it on many of our podcasts and live streams. And it allows us to both educate ourselves and to support the channel. So the book that we're going to be reading for the month of July is The Source of Self-Regard by Toni Morrison. And this fits into our theme of mental health, wellness, relationships, communication, and just positivity in general. And these topics have been some of our most fruitful conversations when we have a reference to guide our conversation. So join us in reading The Source of Self-Regard by clicking the link in the description. By purchasing with the link, you'll help support Male Media Mind through our Amazon affiliate program. Again, thank you for listening, and we'll get back to our conversation with Sharon, Jeff, and Greg.
Yeah, but Republicans, like, we look at what they're digging in on voting rights, but definitely, like, we talk about getting rid of the electoral college. You talking about a fight? Because they've already said they said that's the thing they say that's normally be done behind closed doors. They realize if the electoral college is gone, they will never be another
win again. Exactly, they would never win another election if electoral college.
Another generation, one more our kids, then it's over.
Yeah. Well,
they're going to go away just like the Whig Party and the Do Nothing Party. They are well on their way.
But that's why I'm saying the reason they're not going to lose because of that generational gap is because electoral college. All the growth of our people are in the blue states. They're not going to lose any ground in the electoral college.
I still have faith in people like Stacey.
I do too. I'm just saying, don't think it's over. The way I hear,
it's not over. No.
I know. I'm just saying, what I hear from you is like we're gonna win, and I'm like, it's not given that we're gonna win. Man.
Well, it's not given that we're gonna lose either.
I know that. I know we're gonna fight. I'm just saying, I want you to be realistic about the fight that we got ahead.
But the realism is okay. So what free time I have, I can put in making sure people vote. That's I am no longer in that position because it is an existential threat. I am
right. I don't want you to be hopeless. I just want you to be realistic.
No, I am hopeful because I am and thousands of other people are out there doing the work.
Yeah,
I hear you more hopeful. So
I need some hope. Give me some.
You do. Like maybe if you had some free time, maybe you could volunteer.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right, and then that's because I was that way too, and I was like, no. Something really, I don't have very much time. I cannot, at this point, once I pass on, very much democracy could be over. We could go
that's true.
A autocracy.
Yeah, it could be over this fall.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. Well, it won't be over this fall. We'll still have some remnants until Joe. If we lose the next election, it's over.
I mean, if they redraw the districts from the 2020 census, we're fine.
Well, so no, what's
for at least a decade?
They're gonna sue. Well, and what's happening is all those voter registration laws and all those voter laws are being sued. So
I hope they win. I'm just saying if they.
I don't know about that, but some of that shit is unconstitutional. I don't know how much of it is, but some of it is. But the other point is.
Yeah.
I truly believe that somebody's going to come to somebody beating fucking Christensen over the head right the fuck now. Be like, bitch, are you silly? I think that's how it's going down because let me tell you something. Joe Manchin changed his mind quick. That shit was quick and swift. And I think he's probably in Christensen's office right now and be like, bitch, if we don't change the voting laws, we're going to lose our seats.
Right.
Very states.
Well, I don't think he's worried about losing his seat. Honestly.
No, if she doesn't, because her state is not. His state wasn't backing him, and her state is not backing her. And you're going to put this very democracy in danger for a procedure. And if the other party was in power, we knew what they would do. So don't be ignorant. You know what I mean? You're just being totally ignorant.
How about they like vote for like a temporary?
Well, that's
what's
coming out of Capitol Hill
today.
That Joe
Suspended
Manchin
for like 6 months.
Well, no, Joe Manchin is because you can structure the filibuster any kind of way you want. You can
exactly. You could just make it like temporary. It's like we're gonna bring it back. We're just gonna pass this one bill so you're all on fuck democracy.
Right.
And then
I think that's what's going to happen. It's like you don't have to. You don't have to have a debate about it for it to come back on the floor.
Right.
We're gonna put it back on the floor, and that's
in the bill. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, that's true. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't thought about that. That's the first time I even considered that possibility.
Yeah, their minds are seriously like we have people in the organization called to Capitol Hill every day. Like he has hundreds of thousands of calls into him every day.
Yeah,
70% of his constituents disagree with what he's doing, so he changed his mind. And
they're
like, Chris is a bitch if you don't get this right. You're going down.
They have the modern day freedom riders that and they were outside of her office. I know yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think it takes that kind of, like we said, it's going to be a grassroots effort. Is there a fight ahead? Absolutely, but it's always been like that. That's nothing new. But as you said, we do have to look at gerrymandering with the districts, like Malcolm just said. Look at what just happened with the census and stuff. But also, and this is like I said, just understand how all these pieces work together, because that's the kind of stuff that, like you said, a lot of people don't. Because some Americans don't even know what the fuck the filibuster is. They're like, what the hell are y'all talking about?
They don't care. But you know what they care about? Yeah. They care that Joe gave them a big ass check.
Yeah, definitely.
And they care that they got a job to go back to, and they care about Joe Biden is keeping their motherfucking health care intact. That's the shit they care about, and they care about. And like Malcolm, you and I were discussing it. You know what else they care about? Joe keeps calling bipartisanship. And everybody's like, why the fuck does he keep saying that? Because he's got the country behind him.
Yeah, that's true.
That is the most important thing that you need, because if you paint the other party into a corner and they're a party of an obstructionist, and just like people don't understand what a miracle Georgia was last election.
Oh,
you're talking about just a sheer and utter like it just popped up. It's like it's one of those things that lightning struck in the right place on the right day and caught the right building on fire.
All right, it was 11 votes, like one. Like,
no, not even for the president. I'm talking about for the two Senate seats. The two.
That's true. That's true.
Two.
Yeah, I think Ralph Warnock's seat was even closer than that. Like, it came down back to a recount. Like, it was really close.
All them shits came down to back.
It was super close. Yeah, his was even like.
He won by fucking
hair on your chinny chin.
Yeah. A black and a Jew walk into a bar.
Right, I know.
That's what that joke is, yo.
That was
wow.
It's true though.
So crazy.
And you have to specify that the bar was in Georgia.
Right.
Oh,
right. And it was in bumfuck Georgia. Right.
Wow.
I spend about 4 hours a week. It's a lot. You would just think 4 hours a week is so easy to come by.
Yeah.
It's really not. You know what I mean? Like I sit my ass and I do like 45 minutes a day. And it's just like, you calling black people and you try, And so how I get would be like, do you have kids? Yeah. Do you want your kids to live free? What do you mean? Excuse me?
They are free.
No, they're not.
Right. No, they're not.
If you don't vote in this midterms, they won't be. And let me explain to you why.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how you get. And so Joe has let me tell you something. When you have the entire country behind you, and the president himself is in the 60s.
Yeah.
63 to be exact.
That's powerful.
It's just power that we haven't seen in the presidency since the second term. George Bush was extremely popular after 9/11.
Well, the funny thing is that the electorate is even still much more divided than George W. Bush ever had. So like that 63% includes almost definitely very few Republicans, right? Like less than 30% Republicans.
No, but somebody
I know. It doesn't matter. I know. Well, for one, the number of people who claim to be Republicans has shrunk, so it doesn't really matter.
They're just embarrassed at this point. They're still voting Republican, but they're
voting Republican, but they don't claim Republican.
Right.
And now, considering how the election went, they might be right because I know I grew up in the middle of nowhere. It was sticks and outhouses and shit. And I have white friends that I went to high school. They're like, I can't do this shit no more. And they're like, my mama's mama was a Republican, and I don't really care for black people. You know what I'm saying? I got friends like that. Look, Greg, you're my only black friend. Well, nigga, we ain't friends. So you can take me out of that count.
We said I'm the only one.
You say I'm your only black acquaintance. We're only acquaintances because we were in the same place at the same time back in the 90s, nigga, dog. We're not friends. Don't get that wrong. If you think you can say to me that I'm your only black friend and you don't really like black people, we're not friends. This shit ain't cool.
Yeah.
So, we're not friends. So when I get that off the table, I let them know you are comfortable to speak your mind within reason because you will get shot. Yeah, I will take a flight to Virginia and fuck you up. So let's try to get jazzy with it. But speak your mind. Come on. So, they tell me, right, Greg, I can't do this anymore. Fucking white people are just fucking crazy. We're off the fucking meter. I don't get it. Most of us are cool, but the other friends are just fucked up. And I don't know what the fuck to do. I was like, how about be a fucking human being? You know what's right for right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers, you are just doing things for the sake of being contrary. The Republican Party, they have no platform. All they know is Trump. But let me tell you something. This motherfucker is one cheeseburger away from a heart attack. It's one. And I ain't wish because I can go first, Lord Jesus.
And he better not drop the soap anytime soon because he...
Well, let me tell you something. The FBI is about 17 days away from kicking the door in on his homeboy that runs his foundation.
I know you're talking about his finance guy.
His finance guy. Yep. And let me tell you, I know because I know where all the bodies are for my clients, all of them. Them niggas treat me real good for Christmas. I get Coach bags and shit because I know what they lying about. You know what I mean? I know how they cheat on their taxes and shit. Like, nigga, you better be nice to me because the feds call me.
What you say? I'm singing.
I think the tax returns talking about I got the receipts.
I got receipts. I'm like, so look, people nice to their barber, their doctor, and their therapist, and their financial person.
Yeah, sure.
That's just what it is, you know. What I'm saying? But at some point, I think inherently, as Americans, we will do the right thing.
Yeah,
just like this time, I had no faith. I thought Trump was going to win the re-election. Especially when he picked that black girl. You know, I was like, ooh.
I knew he was out. I called it way long time ago. No, he's out of there.
Not only that,
boy, when he picked Kamala Harris, I was like, damn. He picked a bitch named Kamala? What?
Not only that, Kamala wasn't exactly popular among black people either.
She was not.
No.
And let me tell you something. Fuck no. They like, this bitch, no. Right. They was fucking throwing pennies at her.
The person that he calling a bitch right now is Letitia from the Attorney General of AG of New York.
In New York, yeah.
Let me tell you something.
And Fanny from Atlanta in Fulton County.
Letitia is like Mary J. Blige with a law degree.
Right. Man, she owned him. She is owned.
Oh, you heard I said Letitia James is like Mary J. Blige.
I love that analogy because I love Mary. So.
Oh my God, she's so
I love
good.
Mary.
Letitia come to the mic, she'd be like, "Listen, the evidence speaks for itself. That's all we're gonna say. Thank you."
Right.
And they turn off the lights and leave. Letitia has fun. The governor don't fuck with Letitia. He got a big ass mouth, but he don't fuck with her. He was like, just be quiet, let me do my job, and then let the people of New York speak.
Right.
because what you talking is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And she's real hood, but she having like a Sherlin and some weave and shit. Oh God, like, this girl is bad. She just
Okay.
I love her.
Yo,
yeah, it
like,
is what it is. Yeah,
New Yorkers love her. Like,
look, I almost moved to New York so I could vote for her. Like,
right, oh my God, like
Yeah.
that's why I keep my shit in New York. Cause like I'm scared of her.
That's true.
No, I'm scared of her.
The funny thing is, like, his criticism of her is true. Like, she is going to make a name for herself if she convicts him. I mean, it's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
And she's doing it methodically. She will not. She is when she presents the case, just like Fanny.
Yeah.
The one in Fulton County.
So it's two black women,
Mm.
and they both, I don't know, my age, maybe are they 50?
Give or take, maybe. I think so.
I think Letitia like 52.
Right.
You know, but and Letitia she do interviews with glasses and wine on the table and shit. You be like, she a G.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is, Malcolm. Don't give up hope in democracy.
All right, you got me. You got me hoping.
As long as we have black women, democracy will rise.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's right.
I mean, like Stacey Abrams, Keisha Bottoms, like we talk about Letitia. You know, black women are right now the thorn in the Republican Party's side.
Wait a minute. I want to be a foster parent so bad, and
Me too.
Adopting. I'm just so scared because I watch like The Omen and shit like that. You know,
Great. He just told Malcolm, don't lose the faith about his democracy. Don't lose the faith about it.
And then you know them kids got problems.
You know them kids got issues.
Well, they do. We all have issues. Whether you in the system or you not in the system, everybody have issues. It's just how we choose to do it.
Little motherfucker standing over top of you with a knife and a spoon. What the fuck you doing?
No, then you had to take him. Then you had to take Jeff. You had to take him to therapy.
Right.
Not after your ass got stabbed up. It's too late then. Lord Jesus.
No, now we depend on what age that is, because you may have to put a lock on your door.
Right,
you may have to do that.
Tell me something. Greg done got stabbed. Little Mook them been stabbed.
Right, who stabbed him? Little Mook.
Yeah, you know.
That motherfucker done stabbed me.
He told Greg he wanted some milk and cookies, and Greg didn't give it to him.
And then you up in the motherfucking ER.
Right.
You know, pray Lord. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no.
Gotta know the history. You gotta know the history.
That's the crazy part, though. I know a gay couple in I don't know where they were. Must be California because they ain't had no problem with adopting there. Oh no, Indianapolis. Anybody know the name Robert Ferguson?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you know Robert Ferguson. That's my ex actually. So he and his now husband adopted a baby, or the baby doing the baby. But the mama came back and said, "No, I don't want my kids to go to a gay couple." And I was like, "Bitch, you cracked out. How you get an opinion?"
I was just going to say, how you get so many rights when the kid was in the system in the beginning to be adopted? How she get to come back and say anything?
But you know, it's Indiana. You know what I'm saying?
Mike Pence territory.
Right. Yeah. She's in rehab and blah, blah, blah. So now it's some weird type of Italian trying to be for them. No.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Some people. And then, you know, I know people who, you know, the adopted kids don't never come out quite right. You know what I mean? It's just like, wow.
But most people's biological kids don't come out right.
Okay, it's a two-edged sword. You know what I'm saying?
Jeffrey, mine is fine. He a little cray-cray, but he all right.
Listen, love cures everything. Just give the kids some love.
Every day of my life, and I'm starting to believe it. But
yes, it does. It does. Love will cure everything. Yeah.
No, at one point I had two adopted boys I dated someone who had adopted them before we got together. But we became a couple, we co-parented. And it was a wonderful experience. And like you said, those kids, they just need love. Like, I mean, these kids have been through so much.
You are who you are. That don't count. You two at the bottom of the screen, they don't count.
We're who we are.
We are just adopt legions.
Listen, it ain't about all that frills and nice gym shoes and all that. Just give me some of your time and some love. That's all kids
I
want.
can see Jeffrey now with a little short bus full of kids.
No.
Jeffrey, tell him why I got to be the short bus.
My brother has enough to fill a short bus, and I've done Uncle Jeff, I've been Daddy Jeff, but but I just realized that, like you said, it is about what you give those kids because and like you're right. I mean, they literally give you whole reports on those kids, and it's like buying a car. It was the weirdest thing. Like,
you get like the facts report for the kids.
You get the report.
Oh, yeah.
Like how they tested test scores, where they were like, it's like literally it's almost like, well, and there's a ding on the right side of them, and it literally felt like that.
I did not know that. Was that?
Yeah.
Just opened my eyes to something.
It literally, it's like going, imagine going to an adoption fair. If I equate it to like going to a pet store with a bunch of puppies.
That adoption, that thing is crazy.
See how your teeth looking. Open your mouth.
But that fair, I think the fair is quite off the chart. They need to just do something else instead of that, because there's some kids that don't get people to come over and start talking to them.
They have an adoption fair for the kids.
Oh yeah.
They sell them like literally. The case managers and will chase you around, and they be like, "I got one that'll be a good fit for you, minimal mileage." It's wild.
Wow.
I think that's so degrading. It's crazy.
I know.
This shit is going down the rabbit hole. That is human trafficking.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's
Mom,
crazy.
that is human trafficking. I'm sorry.
It's crazy. It's another form of that. I mean, they haven't realized it, but I just think it's so degrading and it's crazy. And whoever thought of it.
Trying down a slave. Look, he's so clean. Look at it.
No, but it's just like she said. It very much is like, because like you said, it's about those kids that are taught that they have to be a certain way to be. Like she said, if I'm not bubbly enough or whatever, nobody's gonna.
So the kids be like Shirley Temple, go on and sing for them.
Oh, don't they give them talks before it happens? They give them talks.
The whole performance.
Yes, Yeah, let them see your personality. Let you see little magic. It's and like I said, the worst part is that there will be some kids that nobody approach, and that's what makes it so sad.
It would be me. I would be antisocial as a motherfucker. Like,
and nobody would approach you. You are unapproachable. Wow.
And I think about that all the time. I'm so glad that I was able to have a family. Oh my God, I just imagine, like, I had a friend of mine in high school, like both his parents died when we were in high school. And like, oh my God, and like he is such a damaged person.
The most impressionable, most impressionable time of his life. That something like that would happen.
Crazy as fuck.
Yeah. And you know what? He
called me a couple years ago, told me something, man. I heard you was gay. I like gay people. Out the blue.
Wait a minute.
I said, well, thank you so much.
You're supposed to be his token gay, like when I hate when I meet some heterosexual people and I got a gay friend. His name is Jeremy. You must know him. Yeah, we got a network. We all know.
They be trying to hook
oh my God, is that a thing? Like we all look alike? Is that like?
That's what that is.
What the heck?
Or either I'm gonna hook you, and they come out with a drag queen. I'm like, no, I ain't that kind of gay. No. I so appreciate you, but I ain't that kind of gay. No.
Okay.
Like,
education is the key.
Right. And so